I was the laziest person I knew. Here's how I became disciplined. I'm 24. Until about 7 months ago, I was the kind of person who would set 15 alarms in the morning and still wake up at 2 p.m. The kind of person who would order food instead of walking 10 feet to the kitchen. The kind of person who would wear the same clothes for 3 days because doing laundry felt like climbing a mountain. I wasn't depressed. I wasn't going through anything traumatic. I was just lazy as fuck. My room was a disaster, clothes everywhere, empty food containers piled up, hadn't vacuumed in months. My parents would come in and just shake their heads. I'd promise to clean it, and then just close the door and ignore it for another week. I'd start things and never finish them, signed up for online courses I never completed, bought a gym membership I used twice, started learning guitar and gave up after 1 week. My life was just a graveyard of half-assed attempts and abandoned goals. The worst part, I wasn't even doing anything with all that free time, just scrolling TikTok for 8 hours a day, playing video games until 4 a.m., binge watching shows I didn't even care about. My screen time was legitimately 14 hours a day some weeks. I knew I was wasting my life. I'd have these moments of clarity where I'd realize I was 24 and had accomplished literally nothing. No skills, no career, no discipline. Just drifting through life taking the path of least resistance every single time. The wake-up call: my younger cousin came over for Thanksgiving. He's 19, still in college but already has internships lined up, side hustles going, working out consistently, learning new skills. We were talking and he mentioned he wakes up at 5:30 a.m. every day to work on his projects before class. Meanwhile, I'd woken up at 1 p.m. that day, and my biggest accomplishment was making it downstairs for dinner. He wasn't trying to flex on me. He was just talking about his life. But I felt this crushing embarrassment. My 19-year-old cousin had more discipline and direction than I did at 24. After he left, I just sat in my room looking around at the mess, looked at my phone and saw 15 hours of screen time that day, looked at my life and realized I had nothing to show for 24 years of existence. I was the laziest person I knew, and it was 100% my fault. Why I was so lazy, I spent the next few days actually thinking about why I was like this instead of just hating myself for it. Realized that laziness isn't really about being lazy. It's about taking the path of least resistance constantly until that becomes your default setting. Every time I had a choice between something easy and something hard, I picked easy. Sleep in instead of wake up early. Easy choice. Order food instead of cook. Easy. Scroll phone instead of work on goals. Easy. Play games instead of do something productive. Easy. I'd been making the easy choice for so long that doing anything hard felt impossible. My brain was completely wired for instant gratification and minimal effort. Also, I had zero accountability, no job that required me to show up, no commitments I couldn't flake on, no consequences for being lazy. So why would I change? My dopamine was completely fucked too. Between social media, video games, and junk food, my brain was getting constant hits of easy dopamine. Real life that requires effort couldn't compete. So I just avoided real life. I wasn't lazy because I was broken. I was lazy because I'd built a life that rewarded laziness and punished effort. First attempts to change total failures. I tried to fix it multiple times before. Always failed within days. Attempt 1, made a schedule with wake-up times, workout times, work blocks, followed it for exactly 1 day, woke up late the next day and gave up entirely. Attempt 2, deleted all social media apps to stop wasting time. Reinstalled them within 6 hours because I was bored. Attempt 3, told myself I'd work out every day, did one workout, was sore, never did a second one. Attempt 4, tried to wake up early, set my alarm for 7 a.m. Snoozed it until noon, felt like shit about myself, went back to sleeping until 2 p.m. Every time I'd try to go from completely lazy to super disciplined overnight. Obviously that didn't work, but I didn't know any other way. What actually worked, I was scrolling Reddit at like 3 a.m. shocking, and found this post about building discipline through systems instead of motivation. The guy said motivation is useless because it runs out. You need external structure that forces you to follow through even when you don't feel like it. That made sense because I never felt like doing anything. If I waited for motivation, I'd wait forever. He mentioned using an app that creates a structured program and removes distractions so you have no choice but to follow through. Found this app called Reload that builds a 60-day transformation program customized to your goals. It breaks everything into small daily tasks and blocks your time-wasting apps during work hours so you can't escape. I was skeptical, but also desperate. Set it up with goals around becoming less lazy. Wake up earlier, work out consistently, build productive habits, learn a skill, clean my space. The app generated a whole plan starting at the easiest difficulty because I told it I was starting from rock bottom. Week 1 tasks were almost insulting. Wake up by 11 a.m. not even early, just not 2 p.m. Make your bed, do 10 push-ups, spend 20 minutes on something productive. That's it. But here's what made it different. The app blocked TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all my usual time wasters during the hours I was supposed to be doing tasks. Couldn't negotiate with myself, couldn't scroll instead, had to actually do the thing. The first month, week 1-2, waking up by 11 a.m. was weirdly hard. I'd been sleeping until 2 p.m. for so long that my body was confused, but my apps were blocked in the morning, so I couldn't just lay in bed scrolling. Had to actually get up. Making my bed felt stupid, but it was proof I'd done something. 10 push-ups sucked, but they only took 30 seconds. 20 minutes of productive work was manageable because I knew it would end. The key was that nothing felt overwhelming. Old me would have tried to wake up at 6 a.m., do an hour workout, work for 4 hours. New me just had to do these tiny tasks that I couldn't really make excuses about. Week 3-4, tasks started increasing slightly. Wake up by 10 a.m., 20 push-ups, 30 minutes of work. Add one productive habit like reading or learning something. I was actually doing them, not perfectly. Some days I'd barely scrape by. But I was showing up more days than not. That was completely new for me. Also, my room was getting cleaner because one of the tasks was clean for 10 minutes. In 2 weeks, I'd cleaned more than I had in the previous 6 months. Week 5-6, wake up by 9 a.m., 30 push-ups, work out 3x per week, 45 minutes of focused work. The difficulty was ramping up, but I was adapting because it was gradual. Started noticing I had more energy, probably because I wasn't sleeping 14 hours a day anymore. Also wasn't eating like complete shit because meal prep became one of my tasks. My parents noticed. My mom asked if I was okay because my room was clean and I was awake before noon. Felt good to have them see actual change. Week 7-8. First time I woke up at 8 a.m. without wanting to die. 2 months ago that would have been impossible. Now it felt normal because I'd been slowly adjusting. Also, I'd worked out like 20 times in the past 2 months. Old me worked out twice a year. The consistency was building actual discipline instead of just motivation that disappeared. Month 2-4 month 2. Tasks were legitimately challenging now. Wake up at 7 a.m. Work out 5x per week, 90 minutes of focused work daily, learn a new skill for 30 minutes, but I was ready for it because I'd built up to this point. If you'd told me on day 1 to do all that, I would have quit immediately. But after 8 weeks of progressive difficulty, it felt achievable. The app blocking was still crucial. I'd finish my tasks and then I could use my apps, but during work hours everything was locked. Remove the temptation entirely. Month 3, people were commenting on how different I seemed, more energy, more focused, actually following through on things instead of flaking. I'd lost like 15 pounds without really trying because I was moving more and eating better. My room stayed clean because I'd built the habit of maintaining it. I was learning web development and actually sticking with it. The ranked mode in the app kept me competitive. Seeing my rank go up as I stayed consistent motivated me to not fall off. Month 4. Got my first freelance web dev client. Nothing huge, just a simple website for a local business, but I actually completed it and got paid. Proof that I could finish something I started. Old me would have taken the job, procrastinated for weeks, felt overwhelmed, and never delivered. New me had built enough discipline that I just did the work even when it was hard. Where I am now, it's been 7 months since I started. I'm not perfect, but I'm unrecognizable compared to who I was. Wake up at 6:30 a.m. most days. Work out 5-6 times per week. Have a freelance web dev income of like $2K a month on top of my part-time job. Learning new skills consistently. Room stays clean. Screen time is under 3 hours a day. Most importantly, I'm not lazy anymore. I can make myself do hard things. That's a completely different identity than the person who couldn't even make his bed 7 months ago. Still use the app daily because it keeps me on track. The structure, the app blocking, the progressive difficulty. All of it works together to make discipline automatic instead of something I have to fight for. My cousin came over last week and I told him about the changes I'd made. He said he was proud of me. That hit different. Went from being embarrassed around him to having him actually respect my progress. What I learned: discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build gradually through consistent action. You can't go from lazy to disciplined overnight. You have to slowly increase the difficulty until hard things become normal. Laziness is just optimizing for short-term comfort over long-term benefit. Every time you choose the easy path, you're reinforcing that pattern. You have to start choosing the hard path even when it sucks. You need external structure when you have zero internal discipline. Relying on motivation or willpower when you're chronically lazy doesn't work. You need something outside yourself forcing you to follow through. Remove the escape routes. As long as you can easily access your time-wasting activities, you'll choose those over productive work. Block them. Make it harder to be lazy than to be productive. Small wins build momentum. I didn't transform my life through one massive effort. I did it through tiny daily actions that compounded over months. 10 push-ups became 50. 20 minutes of work became 2 hours. Waking up at 11 a.m. became waking up at 6:30 a.m. Your environment shapes you more than your intentions. If your room is a mess, your apps are unblocked, and you have no accountability, you'll stay lazy. Change the environment and the behavior follows. Discipline creates more discipline. The more you follow through on small things, the easier it becomes to follow through on bigger things. It's a muscle that strengthens with use. If you're lazy like I was, stop trying to fix everything at once. Pick one small thing you can do today. Make your bed. Do 5 push-ups. Clean for 5 minutes. Just prove to yourself you can do something. Get external structure. You can't trust yourself to be disciplined when you have zero discipline. Use an app. Get an accountability partner. Create systems that work even when motivation is gone. Block your time-wasting apps. You're using them to avoid discomfort and effort. Remove the option during hours you should be productive. Start so small it feels stupid. If you're really lazy, don't try to work out for an hour. Do 10 push-ups. Don't try to work for 4 hours. Do 15 minutes. Build from there. Track your progress. I logged every task I completed. Seeing streaks build motivated me to keep going. Seeing myself improve proved I wasn't just lazy forever. Be patient. It took me 7 months to go from completely lazy to disciplined. That's not overnight, but it's also not that long compared to spending the rest of your life being lazy, except that it's going to suck at first. Waking up early sucks, working out sucks, doing hard work sucks. You're not waiting for it to not suck. You're doing it while it sucks until it becomes normal. 7 months ago, I was the laziest person I knew. Now, I'm someone who actually does shit. If I can change, literally anyone can. Stop waiting for Monday or New Year's or the perfect moment. Start today with one small thing. Build from there. What's one thing you've been too lazy to do that you could do right now?